All right, folks, a long time ago, I asked you guys to send me suggestions for the best snatches that I could review. For those of you who are just joining this channel, I'm a weightlifting coach. I like to weightlift myself, among other things in the gym, in the weight room. I just want to review some of the best snatches, some of my favorites and your favorites, the top rated comments in my community feed. So the first one we're going to check out is Matt Fraser. Matt Fraser, for those of you who have been living under a rock, is the 5-time CrossFit Games champion, and he's also an ex-weightlifter, so his technique in weightlifting is very, very solid. So I believe this is his best ever snatch, 143 kilos, 315 pounds. Okay, so this first one's a little under 140 kilos. Yeah, I mean, his feet are pretty flat to the floor when he makes contact, as you can see down here. He's just got a lot of grit in this lift. Like, it's not, he obviously has to play around with it in the bottom position, but whatever's going on, this is a special day for him. Where anytime where you hit a PR and you're not really training for it as a CrossFitter, this is definitely a special day, especially because he's been training weightlifting his entire life, and this is a PR beyond what he was capable of doing. Mind you, he's a lot older in this video than he was when he was a weightlifter, but like I said, his technique is the best in CrossFit, and so anytime there's going to be a maximum clean and jerk or something around that area, if he's not the best, he's one of the best. Whoever would beat him in a clean and jerk or a snatch at this point, he's going to beat in every other event. Solid lift, catches, has to play around in the bottom a little bit, but nothing crazy. So here we have 315. This is the PR. Starts coming forward, brings it back. That's a good lift. Yeah, I mean, the pull is solid. His lifting is solid. He wasn't expecting to PR at this. I don't really see many CrossFitters excelling in the sport, being able to snatch more than this. I've actually had a video that I made about Matt Fraser and his weightlifting and how it's carried over to his CrossFit success. It's definitely more nuanced than this approach, but I definitely suggest checking that out. One of my favorite recent lifts, Ihab. Right before this lift, he had hit 170 in his prior lift. Then Liu Xiaojun hit 172 for the world record. And now he had his final lift, his third lift, at 173 to beat Liu Xiaojun and to set the new world record. So an amazing lift, probably the best competition snatch in his career. And Egypt, I don't know what his status is for weightlifting in the Olympics this year, but Egypt is banned from the Olympics. So Ihab is, he has his work cut out for him if he can be, I think it's like an independent. You can go as an independent, but like still represent your country. It's a very convoluted thing, but he's a great lifter. He's going to, pay the price because his country is pretty shitty with their doping. So I think we get a side angle here, and I'm going to slow it down a little bit. This is something that, this is classic Ihab here. All right. So what he ends up doing is he takes his toes, and he's got a pretty narrow stance, but he splays them out to the side. And what that does is it clears the knees out to the side. If we think about leverages on the bar, if the knees come back really far, some of the other joints have to move. So that means the shoulders might have to come forward, because if the knees go back, the hips have to come up, right? Or the hips can go back, and then you have no leverage on the bar at all. You have a bunch of body weight behind the bar. You don't have anything pushing down on the floor. So if the knees go really far back, the shoulders are going to come forward. If the shoulders come forward, when that bar gets up high, you have to throw the shoulders all the way back, and you get this mess. So what Ihab does here, and a lot of other lifters, Klokov is one of these guys as well. We're going to view one of his snatches. they'll get their toes pointed out pretty far. And what they're going to do is, instead of throwing the knees back, they're just going to push hard through the balls of their feet, drive the knees out to the side. Now, Ihab's hips will rise like any other weightlifter. They're going to rise, but only up to a certain point. You can see he has this dynamic start. He drops his hips, drops in, and actually, as he drops his hips, watch his feet. See how they twist into the start? So again, that's another like Ihabism, if you will. Hips rise up, but that's it. They're done rising. Now, his style, like, this is a very far over position. His shoulders are really far over the bar, but watch what happens on his second pull. He throws everything back. I wish I could see his eyes, but a lot like Dimas here, Pyros Dimas, the head goes back, right? So now where we were worried about these shoulders being so far over the bar, look at that. That's so far over the bar. He takes everything he can and throws them back. Now, mind you, this isn't a great habit at all. I wouldn't suggest doing something like this. But look at the contact position. And again, this is what we saw with Matt Fraser. If we look at Ihab's feet, I can't get rid of this red line. I don't know how to do that. But they're flat to the floor, right on contact. That's beautiful. And it's because he's so aggressive throwing the shoulders back and making up for that shoulders being over the top. Not many people are going to be able to do this. None of you probably out there are going to be able to pull this off. But this man does with a world record snatch, right? So now we see that head thrown back, and I can't tell if his eyes are still somewhat forward, but he's fully sending it. I mean, he's throwing everything back, and then this is what I love the most about this lift. I'm telling you right now, if I can get it there, this catch position. Now here's something that I might have to address one more time in an actual formal video, but the internal versus external rotation debate, or whatever that is. And I don't want to get too much into it. The main thing I want to say is that the way we associate external rotation on the bar is when we're standing and we're teaching someone how to overhead squat. So we have whoever it is stand up, right? Stand up, all their joints are extended, and then hold the hands over the head. So yeah, external rotation makes sense, right? Because our hands are over our head. But the problem is getting into a bottom position, right? A maximal bottom position. This is not just an overhead squat. We are weightlifting here, okay? I don't give a shit about all these positions if you can't get low enough to catch the bar. So what we see with this position in particular, the knee joint is grossly higher than the hip joint. This is the only way to catch this weight. This is the only way to maximize your ability to catch weight in the snatch. I promise you that. Your knee crease needs to be visibly higher than the hip crease. And the only way to do that is to have your head forward, almost down, right? And then we press the scaps together, right? Not up, obviously not up, but certainly not taking our entire body and rotating it back. So while you might not call what this position as internal rotation, it's not the classic external rotation. So anyways, I don't know. I might make a video on that to explain it a little bit better, but I love this catch position. I've made a video about this as well. So definitely watch that. A couple more videos. This one is insane. Technically would be a double body weight snatch, but I bet you that Ihab at this point was over 105 kilos. Back when this lift happened in 2012, the weight class was 105. It is now 109. So that's the heavyweight class. He's in the 105 class here. So this is a double body weight snatch at 105. 210 kilo snatch is just massive. It doesn't matter what weight you are. It doesn't very few humans to have ever walked this earth have ever snatched 210 kilos. Lasha has done 210 kilos hundreds of times at this point, but he is an anomaly. Here we have a heavyweight doing this, and it is an incredible lift. Just incredible. An incredible lift. I don't know who that is. Is that Lovchev? Coaches? Of course, there's a dude in sandals. Always a dude in sandals. You know, Akayev and Ihab are very similar in, I'm just going to call them senders. These guys are super violent. And they're, you know, Akayev, if you watched him versus Klokov, where he beats Klokov in both the snatch and the clean and jerk, when Klokov was at his absolute best, Akayev beat him, and Akayev was always one step above Klokov. If you look at a guy like Akayev, if you look at a guy like Mohammed Ihab, they're senders, man. They go so hard at extension. They're so violent. They're yelling, they're screaming a lot. And Akayev, if you look at a lot of his lists, man, he just goes crazy. He's a psycho. So definitely check this guy out. All right, the next one we have Gabriel Sincraian. Yeah, we'll watch this series so you can get a feel for the way that this guy lifts. But it's very dynamic, and it's some of the best technique I've ever seen. I love Gabriel. He's a good dude, and I would consider him a friend of mine. So. So here's 180. I mean, that is just massive, right? That is huge. Much like my guy Rich right here. Huge. So something you guys should notice is the sounds, right? That's the first thing I noticed with Gabriel and his lifting. There's a tempo. There's an obvious tempo to his lifts. And it's even, you know, more noticeable with the sounds, right? It's the same. Pop, pop. And there's certain guys with this style where they're very smooth and technical, and it's right when it's early on. And then once it gets heavier, there's like this noticeable. It's a thing that a lot of Russians do that I've noticed in particular. It's this noticeable, like, harder extension. Just full send into extension. It's this grittiness at the last bit of the pull that a lot of people don't have. There's something about heavy lifts and heavy snatches where when you make contact, you think, my job is done. My work here is done on the pull. Let me catch, right? And when you get up to these weights, it is not the case. You have to like float the bar up. You have to give it that tiny bit more. And then it's just, you know, hope that your training works, right? Hope that all the goddamn reps that you caught with your head through, like, hope that it works. Look at this. Look at how hard, bang. And that's what these guys do. That's what they show the most. That's what they to me, that's what they look like. And Gabriel Sincraian, if you watch his snatches, they're picturesque. I don't know what his body weight was leading up to this. I think it was supposed to be 85 going into Rio. So at this time, maybe he was closer to like 89 or 90 kilos body weight. Double body weight snatches. That's what we're dealing with here. Finally, you know, the GOAT of training lifts, Dmitry Klokov. Like 2011 Worlds was his last. And then this is 2015 Worlds. I was actually at this. I took a picture with him. There's a special time in when I learned how to weightlift and when I became obsessed with weightlifting where this guy was everything to me. You know, he was done weightlifting professionally, so he didn't have to worry about drug tests. Could seriously just crush gear and just go to seminars and lift massive weights, do ridiculous things. And so it was a lot of fun to watch, just a ton of fun to watch. And so here he's at the 2015 Worlds training hall. You know, these guys are no longer allowed to do this anymore because they were just upstaging the competitors. But this is a fucking ridiculous lift, okay? This is absolutely bananas. Stopping at the knee for, I don't know, 2 full seconds, 3 seconds, and snatching. Okay, this is a pause snatch from the floor. A lot of people would call this a hang snatch. This is a pause snatch. I mean, that is a full 3 seconds. It's ridiculous. Like, just go and load up 200 kilos on the bar, 440 pounds. Just really do anything with it. Just do anything with it for over 3 seconds. Okay? Take it, pull it off the floor, pause at your knee, just for a deadlift. Can't do that? I don't know, try just unracking it on your back. Try deadlifting it in a snatch grip. I bet you can't. This man just operates with 200 kilos like most people would operate with less than 100 kilos. This is an insane lift. And again, you know, he's not competing. He's crushing a lot of gear and having fun out there, making a lot of money, doing seminars. I'm here for it. That's fine. Do what you need to do, man. This type of shit fires me up. It got me into weightlifting in the first place. You know, this is the type of stuff that keeps weightlifting relevant. You know, but ultimately I fear that this sport is kind of dying out. You know, with COVID hitting, like I can't help but see other sports continue to keep growing and growing and growing, even though, you know, they've had certain sports have had bad numbers. Weightlifting is tough, man. It's in a tough spot. I love it so much. I really do. I just hope it keeps going. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same video, but we're going to do it with the clean and jerks. I will, how about this? Everyone comment your clean and jerks that you want to see me review in the comment section, and I will review the top ones. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.